welcome back to the Monolith Barbecue Dads. Today I have the flat part of a brisket. Again, as usual, I've got a busy day. I'm going to use the smartfire to keep this hot fast. We're going to rest it in a cooler. We're going to let the collagen all break down and leave it as long as possible to rest. So this hot and fast cook on the small part and the best part of the brisket is going to be really cool. Today the brisket has come from Carna Store, which is a meat shop in Dubai. The quality of it looks incredible. We can see all the intermuscular fat through. I don't know how much trimming I'm going to do, but let's see how we get on and see the finished product and see if the family like it. Okay, so let's get this brisket open. Air packed really nicely, and let's take a closer look. Just give it a quick dab down. So we've got a bit of silver skin that we'll definitely need to take off here, and a touch of fat on the back, but really there's not much you're going to need to do with this. It's in pretty good shape. Alright, so I've got my trusty knife here. And like always, I'm going to keep these trimmings for sausages. I'm excited, my sausage maker has come in. I've got some skins to be able to keep them together with, and we're going to make a video fairly soon of how I'm going to do that. So you can see this on the top, especially as we're going pretty hot and fast. We don't want any massive pieces of fat, and we want to keep it as aerodynamic as possible. And then all of this. Now, what am I going to do in terms of rubs and slathers? I'm going to keep it really simple. I've got a 50-50 mix of diamond kosher salt and pre-ground black pepper. And I don't need a rub on here. It's just going to take away, a bit like as I said previously for the previous cooks that I've done, the ribs for example, it just keeps it absolutely natural. This will form, if cooked at the right temperature, a beautiful bark, and it will do our job of doing that without a slather. You see, there's no slather, and this thing is looking pretty cool already. It's going to be nice and gnarly and dark if we cook it properly. And there you go. That is the brisket, trimmed apart from this edge. Can't forget the edges. Ready to go. The pit is nearly up to temp. We're going to put it on. We're going to use the smartfire for the pit control. We're going to use one of their wide probes and put it right through the middle. And I'll use a meter just to make sure we've got a point of difference in terms of the different temperature areas in here. This side being thinner will be further away from where the biggest heat source will be. This will be to the side there. If it gets too hot, we'll build a metal boat. What we want to do is create the best bark that we can do here without burning the bottom. So let's get it on the pit. Alright everybody, the pit is up to temp. The brisket is ready to go. I'm going to put my smartfire probe in actually from this side, so it goes right into the middle. And then I'm going to put the meter probe in this side, just to make sure we don't go over the line. So we've got a fairly close intersection there. I might actually move this down just to make sure there is no, ouch, don't touch the hot grid. So we're fully covered. We're going to let this roll now until at least a couple of hours. I want a bark to build up there as quickly as possible and for it to catch the smoke. And then once we've got it 2-3 hours, we'll check the temps and we'll see how we knife, but that's all I had to hand. Now what this will do, the tallow will melt and it should just braise underneath. And this boat will mean that the bark that we built up on top won't go anywhere. So what I'm really looking for is feel. We're at 200, but this definitely is not There it's okay, but this is not. It needs to go further. Let's try and provide a bit of protection for this end, and let's just try and get it a little bit better than that. 2 hours clearly is good, but not where we need it to be. So we'll check. So we'll check back in on my little boat in half an hour. We'll check the temperature and make sure it's in the right place. But we really want to get that into a place where it is a lot softer and more broken down. Of course, when we put it into rest with the tallow in there and we wrap it in a blanket in the cooler, and it will maintain a temperature and break down. If we can rest it for as long as possible, that might solve the problem. But I just want it a little bit softer than that before we do that. So we'll keep an eye on the temperature, as I say. We'll check every half an hour, and then when it's got to a stage where it is really soft, I'll put it in the cooler. But we're just going to wait a little bit before we do that. All right, we've got a beautiful bark on this now. Oh yes, beautiful. Beautiful. It's coming off. We are ready to put it into our cooler. And let's bring you over and see what we're doing here. So all I'm going to do at this stage is leave it in this boat. Put some fat rendered down here. We're going to put some more tallow in it. Got a lovely bark on there. That's just, remember, right, there was no rub on that. All there was, sorry, there was nothing but salt and pepper which went on there. Ideally, right, this would be a much bigger piece, but the speed at which this is cooked has been nothing short of amazing. Yes, it is only the flat, and it's not a whole massive brisket, but actually if you want to cook brisket during the day and you want to do it in a way where you're going to get maximum taste and flavour, this would work really well. So we're now in mid-afternoon. If I let this rest for 3 hours, let's say until dinner tonight, all that collagen is going to break down even further. So you can see I've got this cooler here. It's outside, I'm in Dubai, so there's no need to heat it up in any other way. But we'll just leave that there, and that will stay there now for as long as I need to. So maybe the next 2 or 3 hours, but I cannot wait to see how this ends up. We'll leave it here in the heat. It's got direct sunlight coming directly down on it. It will keep it at 160, 170, maybe even 180, and we'll see how it ends up in a couple of hours. Thanks. So here we are at the end of the cook. The brisket's obviously shrunk quite a lot, but it's been resting for a long time. So here's the moment of truth. We can see the bark, that's just off salt and pepper. You don't need to do a lot more than that if you cook it properly. And let's have a look and see what we've got inside. Beautiful. Look at that pulling apart. Delicious. Fast, slow. Fast versus slow, but fast wins. This is soft, it's juicy, it's beautiful. Brisket the right way. Hope you enjoyed that cook. I think what I'm going to do with this is shred it up and make some brisket burgers. So wish me luck. I'll show you the final product, and I look forward to seeing you all again soon.